It is 5 a.m. and I just finished an incredible journaling exercise that I quickly want to share with you before we get into today's topic. It's such a great exercise to reconnect with appreciation for your life and be grateful for where you're at today and all of the experiences that you've gone through to get to where you are today. So what I do, and this is something I do every few months, I write down in my journal all of the things that have led me to where I am today. It depends like how I'm feeling, where I start. Today it was from when I was a teenager. And then I just write down all of the blessings, all of the incredible experiences that have gone through that have helped form the human that I am today and form the life that I get to live today. I just quickly wanted to share that with you because that's like a really powerful exercise. It helps me just trust in whatever is happening is for me because I can see so clearly on paper how everything that have happened in my life, all the struggles and all the wins have led me to where I am today. So just wanted to share that with you. And if you are watching this on video, then you can see my morning hair braids and a podcast studio that very clearly isn't finished, but I did my best and can now see that what I did isn't really working. So I'm going to continue working on it. But that was something I was really excited about after getting back to my apartment after 4 months, was to create a podcast studio that I would enjoy sitting here and chatting with you in. I have these like photos behind me and they're kind of out of frame. It's looking a little messy. So I can tell that I need to work on that a little bit. Since coming back, I have just been incredibly excited to get back into my habits. And it just is very clear to me how important habits are, especially my morning routine. For me, my morning routine is the one thing that always gets me so excited for the day, but not just that. It also helps me really get clear on what I want out of that day. I can just really feel how happy I feel consistently throughout my day. If you're new to my podcast, I just quickly want to share what my morning routine consists of. It's currently 5 a.m., a little past, and I wake up at 4, and then I meditate and I journal, and then sometimes like creative ideas come up. So like today I wanted to record this podcast before I go to the gym, but typically I go to the gym, and then after the gym, something that I have incorporated since coming back is like I just go straight into content creation. I create a list of the things that I want to record on that day, and then I just get it done. And the reason I do that before I do anything else is because after my workout, I'm in such an incredible space. I have such a good energy, so it just feels so good to just keep that flow going. And then after that is when I have my breakfast, I sit down and then I start editing, I start emails, I start all these like more technical parts of my job. But it feels really good to do it that way. And I think you have been in a rhythm, had a habit at some point in your life that really worked well, that felt like it set you up for the day. So I just wanted to share that with you in case that could remind you of how powerful that was for you, so that you could get into that again. In my October challenge, which is something I am doing starting October 1st, I also have incorporated different morning routines so that you can create the morning routine that works specifically for you, as well as a journaling challenge so that you can really dig deep into what it is that you want for your life, reconnect with yourself, which actually is kind of intertwined with this topic of today's podcast, which is within the area of shame of changing opinions, shame of just changing in general things in your life, both from yourself, but also the shame that others may be putting on you. So yeah, maybe if you want for this last quarter of your year to be really powerful and really feel good within and align all of your actions with the life that you want to create, maybe the October Transformational Challenge will be a perfect fit for you, we also have a 4-week workout program, a nutrition guide, as well as 130 of my absolute favorite recipes. So there's a bunch of good stuff in there, and we're gonna personalize your challenge to you. There's like a manual that I put together so that you really get clear on your goals and then what to incorporate and what to not incorporate. Because we all know that like when we put on too many things at once, then it can feel overwhelming and then it doesn't last long term. So just wanted to mention that and put that out there. I would love to have you. We're also going to do weekly Zoom chats. Okay, today's topic is this shame of changing. If you have followed me for a while, you may have realized that I like to change. And I think that I myself put shame onto myself. If I one day feel one way and then another day feel another way. And I also think that other people can put that shame onto me, or at least I will perceive it as shame and it stings. It's really because I have an insecurity within that area. So I want to open and chat about this shame of change, because if we open the chat and we start allowing ourselves to change our opinions, change the direction of our life. Like, I feel like in society and in life, it's like when you say one thing at one time, it's like then you feel like you have to stick to that. If you get into a relationship, there's this shame of like leaving the relationship because you told the world that now it's just going to be the two of you for the rest of your life. Or if you, like me, are like, I want to be a digital nomad. And then halfway through, you're like, wait, but this isn't really what I want to do anymore. Then there's this, like, for me, inner shame and like, but now you told people that you wanted to do that. And just accepting these little changes. Because I personally think, and this is something I have to remind myself of, but I personally think that, first of all, if we don't give something a shot, we will never know if it is for us. Secondly, it's okay to make these changes. So just because I feel one way one day, it is still okay for me to feel another way another day. I want to chat about diet, for example, for a moment. When I first started my fitness journey, let's just call it that, when I really got serious about wanting to change my body, my mind, all of that, I first looked into bikini models, looked at their diets, their training, and got really excited about that. And kind of gave that a shot for a while. I tried that out. And then after a while, I saw the documentary on Netflix, the one about plant-based diets. So I went vegan, like full-on vegan for 6 months. And I shared that on my social media, my friends, family, everything. And then at one point, I just felt like it wasn't working for me anymore. I was eating way too much processed meat substitutes and too much sodium, too much soy, and it started to not feel good on my body anymore. And so I stopped being vegan. It was a slow transition, but like there was this was like shame within myself about how I had told people that I was vegan and now I'm not vegan anymore. I don't know if you can relate to this in some way. Like making this crazy change and then wanting to switch, but kind of being scared of making that switch because what are people gonna think, and shaming yourself for it. And that wasn't the end, because then I went on this Ayurveda retreat and I started eating more Ayurveda foods, and that made me feel really good for a long time. And then I started doing that and I shared that with people around me. And then at one point I was like, I kind of want to eat like these things that also I enjoy eating and incorporating those into my diet again. And then it's again this shame of like, oh, but now I told the world that you should, not that you should be eating Ayurveda, but that Ayurveda is the best thing for me. And that like having like these 5 hours of space in between my 3 meals where really I'm a snacker. Like I love just snacking. And like these changes that I put shame on myself for changing and feeling like others may be shaming me as well. Like when I stopped being vegan, I definitely got a ton of not very loving messages on YouTube, for example, saying that like, you know, not so nice things. I think it's really just about allowing ourselves to make these changes, because every single one of these phases I had with these different diets made me have a wider knowledge, a wider perspective and understanding for what my body enjoys, what works and what doesn't work. And I'm grateful for every single one of those phases. Now, I just gave like this diet example, but I think we can use this within all areas of my life. Like I grew up dancing and then I moved to America to dance, and I thought that was the thing I wanted to do. But as I got more dance jobs, as I developed myself, I realized that actually the time that I'm the happiest, I love to dance. I do. But that's not what excites me the most. I love dancing and using that as like a creative expression. I love being in dance class and being creative within dance. But booking a job and not being in charge of my own schedule, and like a lot of it is like waiting around and then dancing a little bit, like that's not something that I find as fun. Sometimes it can be fun, but not as fun as every day waking up and being like, okay, what can I do today to, first of all, feel at my best personally so that I have so much to share to others? And how can I express that? How can I creatively put little videos, little podcast things, little TikToks, YouTube videos, Instagram posts together in a fun, creative way to capture someone else's attention and hopefully have that piece of content make a shift within their life? That excites me so much. And for a long time, I was shaming myself for the fact that I moved across the world from Denmark to LA to pursue this dance dream and then switching up what I was doing. But again, having this understanding for myself, and something that I was talking about yesterday on my story, I also posted it on YouTube as a little clip, that a really important question to ask yourself in life is, what makes me happy? What is my definition of success? Because I think a lot of us, unless we ask ourselves that question, what is your version of success, we will strive for the successes that other people has defined as success. And once we get really clear on what is my definition of success, what is your definition of success, then we can every day make sure to align those actions with our version of success. And I think that is what brings fulfillment, because I think, let's say our family thinks that having an incredible education or making a certain amount of money is their definition of success. But if money doesn't excite you, or let's say being a doctor or lawyer doesn't excite you, that's not a job that really would fulfill you, then you will never experience that full fulfillment if you are going towards their version of success. Maybe your version of success is money and everything you've wanted in life was to help other people survive, literally. Doctors, I have so much respect for you, and lawyers as well, helping so many people. If that is your version of success, then even though, let's say, the studies is going to feel draining and it's going to be so hard for you to, get through that long process of getting there, then I still think, because that is your version of success, because you want to help people's lives in that way, even though the education and those years getting to that point is going to be tough AF, it's still going to feel fulfilling. That journey is going to feel fulfilling because there's this bigger picture, this goal that you have in mind that is going to feel so fulfilling. And so, yes, the journey may be hard, but you will feel fulfilled on that journey. So once again, we're kind of chatting all over the place, but just really getting clear on your definition of success, I think, is so important. If you haven't thought about that yet, pause me for a moment and just think about that just for 2 minutes. I think it'll have a big impact in how you live your life. And that kind of aligns with this whole topic of the podcast, in that if you realize that like your definition of success is something completely different than what you're working towards right now, brainstorm on what could it look like? What changes could you make in your life to get there? And then not shaming yourself for wanting to make those changes. And you may make some changes and then it not working out, but then maybe making those first changes will help you have new perspective, new ideas as to what your new changes could be. I feel like everything that I do in my life today, what I do for a living, has been a mix of just me trying out a bunch of different things, and then some of it not working out and some of it working out, and really changing my life in ways that I couldn't even have imagined when I started. But more things did not work out than did work out. And I just try my best to always have this trust that when things don't work out, that it is for a higher purpose. It is because there's something better waiting for me. And many times in life, that has been the case. If I haven't booked this big job that I wanted, it's because something better had been waiting for me. When I lost this job right before COVID, or right in COVID, this job that paid me like the amount of money I'd had on my vision board, and like it was just like this great opportunity. When I lost that during COVID, I started going all in on everything that I am doing today for my work. And of course, at the time, I was like, oh no, like this is the worst thing that could happen. But that's when I started creating ebooks, really going all in on my YouTube, all in on my Instagram, because before that, it was more so still a hobby. And when that happened, I was like, okay, let me go all in. And that's created a much better life for me today than if I just stick to working for this other person that had the job. So just trusting that these things, these changes are for us and not against us, I think for me really, really helps. And reading and listening to people who've gone through challenging times that today are successful has helped me a lot. We all know my favorites: Gabrielle Bernstein, Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, Tom Bilyeu, Lisa Bilyeu, Rachel Hollis. Oh, there's so many good people out there who has written books and have podcasts that we can just daily listen to and get reminded of our inner strength and how everything really is happening for us. And it's setting us up for this bigger thing that we want out of life. So I talked to you about how I really am enjoying my morning routine, and like that, just, oh, I love it. It gets me hyped for the day. But now that we're talking about wanting one thing one day and another thing another day, I quickly want to mention to you that the other day in my YouTube video, I talked about how I'm freaking happy to live a single life right now. And I really am. Like, I'm so focused on me, on my goals. It really feels good to enjoy it. And I did this like 15-second pep talk to anyone who's single, who is sad that they don't have a partner, because I was like, I'm so happy, so let me just like share all the good things about being single. And just to make it clear, being in a relationship is the most beautiful thing in this world. Like, love, nothing is stronger than love, right? So don't get me wrong, like I at one point want to get in a relationship 1000%, but right now I really am loving my single life, just like focusing on me. But I want to share that once every now and then, after having had a long day and I'm tired because I've just given it my all throughout the day, and maybe I'm laying in bed and like sometimes this thought will come in, oh, it would actually be really nice to have a partner right now. And I wanted to mention that because that is another view on how we can change our minds one day to another, and that it's okay to have those moments, that even though I am freaking happy to be single, to also have that other side of like, sometimes, it would be nice to have a partner right now. And again, not shaming myself for having this mixed feeling, this mixed emotion, and just being like, okay, well then I'm just going to be happy wherever I'm at. And when that does at some point come into my life again, then that will be amazing as well. And just really having this understanding instead of shame for these mixed feelings and what we want to do with our life. Last thing, I stopped making recipe videos for a long time because I felt like it did not align with who I was anymore, because I had just gone on this Ayurveda retreat and a lot of the low calorie recipes I was making had like not Ayurveda stuff in it. So I stopped making recipe videos. I also didn't want to be known as the recipe girl. And now since coming back, I've created 2 new videos because I felt like it. I felt like I have my kitchen back. I want to make some recipe videos. And instead of shaming myself for like, oh, but you just like did all this thing because you felt like it didn't align with who you are. If I always just follow what makes me feel good in the now, then I should not shame myself for changing my mind. Because the more I do different things, the smarter I get, the more perspectives I get, the better I get to know myself. And I would rather try 1,000 different things and have 1,000 different opinions at different times than stay stuck in one way of living, one opinion. So now I started making a few recipe videos, and it's not like I want to get back to as many recipe videos as I made before, at least not right now. But if we all just always focus on what is going to make me feel good in this moment, right now, what should I do to feel good? Then I think life is just so much more beautiful, rather than shaming ourselves for wanting these changes in our life. And of course, there's something to like sticking to one thing for a long time to actually see success with it. 100%, that is a thing. Like, if you know you want this one goal and it's not working out after a week, a month, a year, like certain things take a long time to build up. Like my YouTube channel is something that I have worked, oh my goodness, so many hours on. And I did that for a long time before I ever saw success with it. It's this mix of like changing up things if something doesn't feel right anymore and something else sounds exciting, but also sticking to the thing that you know long term is gonna bring us happiness. But my overall message with this is just do you. Stop shaming yourself. Don't take in whenever anyone else is shaming you. Give yourself compassion, love, and remember that in order to grow, you have to challenge your norm. That's what this whole podcast is about. So allow yourself to change different direction, try out different things. And I just think we're going to grow and become wiser humans. So yeah, stop shaming and do whatever the frick makes you happy in the moment. And it's okay if you feel differently tomorrow. That's just my thoughts. Let me know if you have other thoughts. On this podcast, am having guests, and it's some beautiful humans that I'm very, very excited to chat with, but also share those chats with you and take this podcast to the next level. It's been a lot of solo episodes, so I'm excited for it. If you want to join my October Transformation Challenge, you can check out the link in the description. I would love to have you if you're ready to level up your life and really make long-term changes. I'm so proud of this challenge, this program that I've put together, both the workouts, the mental aspect of it, the nutrition part of it, and I am just really excited to get together and connect with like-minded humans, because I just came back from the summit and I realized the true power that is within putting together a community of really like-minded humans that want to grow together and have deep chats with you about life, the challenges, the wins, and just grow with you. I'm freaking excited. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I am sending you so much love, and remember that in order for you to grow, you have to challenge your norm.